Hello, it's David Allen and you are watching Sporting Icons.
Okay, so we're only a couple of days out now for Derek Chisora versus Kubrat the Cobra Pulev, the rematch. Now, of course, that's going to be live and exclusive on DAZN globally. Great fight. I'm looking forward to this fight. I enjoyed the first fight. I did. I disagree with Derek Chisora. I thought Kubrat Pulev won that fight. And I think most of you do too. But how Kubrat Pulev is now and how Derek Chisora is now, that's what makes it a very, very interesting fight. Some people are dead set against it. Hey, I understand. Some people don't like rematches. Some people will look at Pulev and Chisora as past it. Hey, now, when it comes to this particular fight, I do firmly believe, listen, firstly, I would love Derek Chisora to win. Of course I would. He's a Brit. I support my fellow Brit, and I want him to get this win. He's owed a victory. Derek, of course, he's got, was it 12 losses or something like that out of 42, 43 fights, maybe 44 fights, but which is a lot. But those losses, which make him look to be a gatekeeper, some people call him a journeyman, which is unfair, all of them have been against elite fighters at the top end, all of them, except probably with the exception of maybe a Robert Helenius and a Ajit Kabayel. And to be honest, I think if Derek Chisora rematched either of those, I think he'd smash them both into Kingdom Come, to be honest with you. But at the same time, what makes this fight quite interesting is the fact that where is Derek Chisora at this point of his career? Where is Kubrat Pulev at this juncture of his career? Of course, Kubrat Pulev, he lost to Anthony Joshua, and he's had another 2, 3, maybe even 4 wins since then. One of them was that triangular ring, whatever that. That's what they call it, against an MMA fighter. But he's looked very, very good. He looked very good against Jerry Forrest. A lot of people don't look good against Jerry Forrest. They can get the win over Jerry Forrest, but they don't look very good. Arguably, Jerry Forrest defeated Michael Hunter last time out. Okay, but Kubrat Pulev didn't lose a round, did he? He does look very good. But I think a lot of this comes down to the legs and the discipline of Kubrat Pulev. We know what Derek Chisora is going to do. Derek Chisora, he's too long in the tooth now to change his style. We ain't going to see a slick southpaw boxer, switch hitter, and all that kind of stuff from Derek Chisora. Of course, he does switch hit at times, he does. But you get my point. He's not going to be that pure boxer. He's going to be that predator. He's going to hunt down his prey. That's what he's going to do. He's going to look for that big bowler overhand right and land it. That's what he's going to do. Kubrat Pulev, he's very, very disciplined, usually. But Derek Chisora has a funny way of getting fighters to engage in his kind of fight. He does. With Joseph Parker last time out, and I think the start of Joseph Parker, which made Derek Chisora look very average, he did. I think a lot of that was down to, I don't think Derek Chisora, or anybody else even, expected Joseph Parker to fight the way that he did. Joseph Parker is a back foot fighter, for the most part, isn't he? He's a defensive counterpuncher with lightning fast hands and fast feet. But against Derek Chisora, he would plant his feet at times and let shots go. He would be the aggressor in that times. This is the old Joseph Parker. This is the kind of Joseph Parker that I really watched and became a huge fan of. It's that Joseph Parker. That seems to be the Parker that's coming back. And I think maybe that surprised Derek Chisora. Okay, he expected to be chasing down. And yes, Derek Chisora, he looked very tired and he was out on his feet on a few occasions. But again, that's not because there's something wrong with his engine. Because when you're the aggressor and not much is coming back and you're just chasing down, you're not actually exerting that much energy. Most of your energy gets sapped away when you're really having to adjust yourself. So when your opponent is doing things that you don't expect them to do, that's when the fatigue starts to set in. That's when the legs start to feel a little bit rubbery. That's when your part of your brain's going, I'm not comfortable here. And that's when you start to feel the drain falling from your body. And I think that's what happened with Chisora. But ultimately, Derek Chisora, he does put a lot into his fights. And he does tire towards the end of pretty much every fight, doesn't he? But he's always going to have that warrior spirit. He's always going to have that get up and go, I need to win. To legitimately beat Derek Chisora, you're going to have to beat the dog out of him or knock him cold out. That's how you beat Derek Chisora. Can Kubrat Pulev do that? Kubrat Pulev has the ability to do that. People questioned his heart after the Vladimir Klitschko performance, but against Anthony Joshua, he showed a lot of heart. Yes, of course, he got knocked out, but he was there. He was willing to go to war. He was. Kubrat Pulev has the best jab in the division. But somebody like an Anthony Joshua can take that away when their jab is pretty good themselves. Chisora, does he jab? Well, he uses his left arm, but you wouldn't call it a jab. He uses that as a rangefinder. He uses that as a hook to hurt his opponent. But he didn't use it as a jab. Kubrat Pulev will use it and snap that jab 2 or 3 times. But at times, Kubrat Pulev is very, very predictable. And I said this on quite a few of his fights, which is that he can't throw the right hand without throwing the left first. He must throw the left first before he throws the right, if that makes sense. Sometimes he has to use the left twice just to throw the right hand. He has to do it. He can't be in a standing position, not throw the left and just throw the right. He doesn't do that. So that makes him a little bit predictable, where Chisora will know that if the jab's coming out, the right may well follow. But as far as who's going to win this fight, to be honest, as I said, I think it's down to the legs of Kubrat Pulev. The pressure that Derek Chisora is going to put on him. But again, he put a lot of pressure on him in the first fight. He did. Pulev is very, very good at being on the back foot fighter, but this is a few years since. This is not the same Kubrat Pulev with the same engine and the same up on his toes bounciness that he had once before. Unless, of course, he's managed to wind back the clock, I don't know. But he's going to have to be on his toes, because if he tries to stand there and trade with Derek Chisora, I imagine Derek Chisora may come off better in this one. No guarantees, of course not. Pulev punches very hard. He does. He's still a force in the heavyweight division. He is. I know people write him off because he got knocked out by Anthony Joshua and whatever else, but, you know, such is life. And Anthony Joshua has opponents out there, and suddenly they become bummed when Anthony Joshua defeats them. Okay, that's just the way that boxing seems to be in the heavyweight division in this era. But I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And as I said, I hope Derek Chisora wins this fight. I do like Pulev. I've always liked Pulev. I've followed Pulev for a very, very long time. But his style never really changes. Kubrat Pulev is the kind of on-edge kind of character, very similar to Derek Chisora, that if he loses his mind in the fight, and if his mind is no longer on the tactics and what it is that he's got to do, that's when he's in trouble. So that's what I'm saying to you. It depends on, can Derek Chisora suck in Kubrat Pulev to fight him his fight, and how's the legs going to be? If the legs are okay, and if Pulev is disciplined, then the only way Derek Chisora is going to win, in my opinion, is by somehow landing that overhand right. Or just a big punch in general, maybe a good left hook, whatever. This fight is to win or to lose for Kubrat Pulev. As I said, I would love it, absolutely love it, if Derek Chisora gets this win. As much as a fan that I've been of Kubrat Pulev for a long time, I always have to back my Brit. I really do. But my prediction for this one, and I hope I'm wrong, but I believe Kubrat Pulev is going to win on points or a late stoppage. But I hope I'm wrong, all right? For this fight only. Then I'll go back to supporting Pulev again after. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.